And when I first began to think about this and realized just what the apartheid past had done. What it had done, it had not destroyed, it had prevented the people of South Africa from developing the skills, the knowledge and skills needed to create an enterprise that could endure within this modern world. That's what it had done. And so in 1994, we inherit the situation that I've painted there. And there's no magic past this. You can do what was done in Zimbabwe. You can print money. You've got to create wealth. No matter what you do, you've got to create it. Before you can distribute it, you must create it. You must make it. And so how do we do this? I was very concerned. This university challenged the new government with respect to the basic income grant. We challenged the new government and we said to them, here is a way in which you can get every South African to be connected to the new dispensation. And we had a nuanced way of speaking about this, to say that give them a new income grant to everybody so that there's no need to cheat. Nobody's got to go and fiddle things and everybody gets it. But you ask those who do not need it to give it back, then you've accomplished two things. You've accomplished the connection of everybody to the state, and also some have taken the step of saying, I have enough, I will give it back, so they're committing themselves also to the development of the island. That route was not chosen. In fact, the route that was chosen was public works. It's a way of redistributing wealth. We know the problem with public works is, all it does, it gives work to some for a little while. You cut the trees, and once those trees are gone, then there's nothing. And so, once again, we're very glad to hear that the basic income grant is on the table. But you see, one of the other things that happened during the apartheid era, especially here in the Western Cape, was that the state did give grants. The state gave many grants in order to win the people's support, but asked nothing of them in return. So what we had was a whole dependence, a sense of dependence being developing. I don't have to do anything for it, and every month the money will still just come. And I was thinking, under the basic income grant, you can also say to anybody who receives it, what are you doing in return? Are you cleaning just in front of your own home to make sure that there's no dirt there? I come in the mornings, and again I'm speaking about a more nuanced, holistic way of understanding these challenges. I come in the morning, and I get to the gate, and I see there's a piece of paper lying there. I speak to the person who's standing there, I say, there's a piece of paper, and the person says, well, the cleaners haven't come yet. You see, it's an absence of consciousness about what it is to be part of this thing and to own it. And when you own it, you take care of it where you are. And so we are. If there was, and again I'm speaking to those who have these connections. Now I'm not speaking to you, Mr. Milligan, I'm speaking to one man. I'm speaking to those who have these connections to speak about a basic income grant, but with an understanding that it must not beggar. It must demand reciprocity. And the person must come and work in the garden and cut the lawn of the school or fix the windows in the school as their way of understanding that that money comes from somewhere. Someone has worked to generate it, and it's coming to me now, and as a consequence of that, I must do something. Our students, as a consequence of NSFAS alone, as weak as it is, and it should be, but as a consequence of that alone, should be pouring their hearts and minds into the studies. They should be put, because that money is not printed money. Someone worked and paid in order to make it available. And that consciousness has to grow. Otherwise, we're simply just saying, it's not fair. As you said, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's only not fair when it's only fair when everybody is helping, doing something, and then there is a maldistribution of the resources. At the moment, we're up against it. We must do the best we can with what we've got, and we lobby our state to take greater control of the lives of the poor, but remembering that we have to create the wealth that makes it possible. And how do we do that? Well, that's another debate that perhaps we can undertake on a day in this forum.